Would you start a business with your cousin based on your love for a traditional fabric that you loved as a child? My guest today took her love for a brocade fabric and her love and admiration for her cousin to start a business that binds them together despite the thousands of miles apart. Hello and welcome to Season 5 of the Womenpreneur Asia podcast, and I'm your host, Krista Gun. My mission is to uncover the stories and strategies of Asian women entrepreneurs in Asia to help you as you navigate your own business journey. This episode is brought to you by Redbox Studio. If you want to be kept updated on new episodes, join my email list that you can find on womenpreneurasia.com. Today's episode is with an entrepreneur from Malaysia, Sharifah Sarah. Sharifah is the co-founder of By Sarah, a business she started with her cousin due to their shared love for the exquisite songket, a type of woven fabric in the brocade family of textiles of Brunei, Indonesia, Malaysia, and Singapore. Songket is traditionally considered an exquisite traditional fabric, only worn for special occasions. Sharifah uses the traditional songket to create contemporary products such as clutches. In this episode, she doesn't just tell us the story of her business, but also how she started the business as a university student and how she switched careers while managing her business. Sharifah Sarah used to be a doctor. Besides managing her business, she works in the corporate world. Intriguing and mind-boggling indeed, right? I enjoyed our conversation today as it was a conversation about being true to yourself and being courageous in your truth. Let's get started. Hi, Sarah. Welcome to Womenpreneur Asia.
Hi, Kirsta. Thank you so much for having me.
So, Sarah, where are you today?
Today, I'm actually in my room. So I live with my parents, and we're in Subang Jaya.
And that's in Malaysia.
Yep, Malaysia, Selangor, Malaysia.
So, Sarah, we got to know each other through someone that we know, right?
Mm-hmm.
And that someone was the person who introduced your business and, of course, your products to me. Could you talk a little bit about what business you're in and what products you offer?
I have a business. I co-founded a business with my cousin Dottie. So it's called By Sarah. So By Sarah, essentially, it focuses on handmade songket items. So what we do is we produce clutches, clutch bags, and also some small leather goods as well, which ranges from lanyards, card holders, RFID wallets, and right now, recently, a few days ago, we just launched our latest product in line, which is the passport holder. So everything is handmade, customized, and what we mean by customized is that our clients, our customers can choose what kind of leather they want, the color of the leather, and also they can pair it with their favorite songket that we have. So everything is customized and it's tailored to every single client's need, I would say. So it's very unique.
And I've had the pleasure of receiving one of your products. And yeah, thank you so much. I really like it as a very, truly, like you say, it's a very unique product. But let's backtrack a little. For those of the listeners or, someone who's listening right now who doesn't know what songket is, can you describe it?
So songket is actually it's a type of cloth, definitely, but it's very ingrained to a certain culture because it's produced by a technique called tenun, songket tenun. That's what some of the songket we call songket tenun, and the original one is called songket tenun, where you have a specific technique of producing this because this songket is actually ingrained with silver and gold threads, so it's alternate in a way. And you use certain tools, and some of it uses like certain rods. So it's a very delicate process of producing this kind of cloth. And songket has always been accustomed to Malaysia or Indo-Asia, more common in Asia Pacific as well. So, but Malaysia has always been known to songket, or songket has always been known to Malaysia. And yeah, so it's a type of a differentiated cloth, I would say.
And why personally you're so passionate about songket?
Oh, I love songket. I really, really love songket. Growing up, personally, I've always had the privilege of every single raya because I'm also the only daughter in the family. I have a family of five siblings. So every single time raya growing up, my mom would take me to a tailor, and she would be like, "Hey, so what do you want to wear for Raya this year?" So I have the opportunity to design one dress or one baju kurung in a year, right? So I would always include songket in it, and I'm always fascinated when it comes to like going to the fabric store. It's commonly known as Jackal here or Gulatis here, and just choosing my own songket. And I've noticed since I was small, right? Different kinds of songket, and you could pair it with different fabrics. So songket is very personal to me. It gives a sense of growing up, and also gives a sense of identity.
And are you artistic
Oh,
in your background? Because the way you talk about it, it sounds like something, there's some art in your life or some form of art.
I've been told that I'm the least artistic nor creative person. Actually, I'm not. I'm not actually. I love art. I admire pieces of art very well, but I can't do one myself. They have both left hands. I think I can't draw.
And how did that business come about then? Because that also will bring us back to that story of why do you start this business?
Very good question. Thank you for asking me. So I wish my partner Dottie is here, and that would make the story complete. But just to illustrate how we started, right? So one
So
day,
Dottie's your cousin, right?
Dottie's my cousin. Yes, Dottie's my cousin. On my maternal side. So to illustrate this story, right? In the year of 2015, our common aunt, we call her Auntie Adik, even though she's the eldest, but I don't know how. But she's known as Auntie Adik. So Auntie Adik wanted a clutch, a songket clutch for her foreign guests. She was receiving guests at that point, and she was looking online, left and right. Couldn't find one within her price range and also the quality that she wanted. And she was quite frustrated in a way. So what happened was, me and my cousin Dottie was like, don't worry, we'll try to make one for you. So that's how we started, honestly. We just started designing, we started going to fabric stores, and we just started R&D. But also, we found somebody who could help us with this. So that was our first team member. So we found our first team member at that point, yeah. Through this journey, yeah. And she has been with us ever since. Our first team member, her name is Mira, yeah.
So she would be the one helping you craft those beautiful items that you have for sale.
Yeah, definitely. So we would sit down with her. We would just design. We would say, okay, this is how you want it. This is the dimension that we want it. This is the details. And we would source everything. And then she'll be like, yes, okay. She'll do her best. And she has been doing her best. So definitely, yeah, super grateful that we found her.
And from there, what happened? I'm sure your aunt got her gifts. I suppose, more than one.
She got her gifts. She was happy, but just to make it more realistic to the story, right? The first couple of years wasn't easy. I think we spent more money than making it, because the thing is, we're starting something that's very unique. We're not reselling it. We're not drop shipping it. We're trying to create it from scratch, right? So the first 2 years, as I remembered it correctly, it wasn't easy. We were making losses because we had to do a lot of R&Ds. And even when we were producing batches, I think I still remember most of those batches of clutches weren't sellable. Like, meaning it wasn't up to our standard, Dottie and myself, that we knew that we didn't want people to have this or own this. It just didn't feel right. So I think the first couple of years was a lot of putting in money, some money, and trying to finalize or fine tune it. Well, just a background story. When I started it, I was a student. So I think I started it with about 200 ringgit, which is, I think, a lesson here is you don't need a lot. You can always start from a certain amount and it can always grow. You just have to be a bit more patient and a bit more resilient with that.
But you just described yourself as not being artistic, but I feel that in you there's a kind of artisan. I wouldn't I don't know how to describe it. Like you say, I'm not artistic, but because you and Dottie design or think up the designs for the clutches and the other items, I probably think you do have the soul of a creative person.
Okay, I think you're not completely wrong, definitely. But I have to give that credit mostly to Dottie. She is the creative bone in this. I do sometimes a bit design here and there, but she's definitely the big chunk of it. So yeah, maybe you're not wrong.
And then when you said that your aunt was literally your first customer, right? And then what happened after that?
At that time, Instagram just started, social media just started, right? This was in 2015. So we obviously had that platform there. We still have it now, our Instagram page. But mostly words traveled through words of mouth, I would say, to friends and family. And then slowly it grew, I think. Is this true that because our principles has always been the same. We wanted to create an item that we love ourselves and that we would personally wear. Because honestly, I wear all of my items. And we just want to find or reach out to people that would appreciate the same thing. Because we know that this might not be loved by everyone, but we are pretty sure that we would find similar people with the same interest. And that's the whole idea throughout the years. It was never about profit and losses. Obviously, every business is about that, but we had like a deeper movement, I would say. It was not just to make something out of it. It was to spread kind of love towards these items because it's so delicate, it's so niche, I would say.
And now that you say it's delicate, so if just say someone bought a product of yours, how would they take care of it? Because we know that, taking bags and clutches and all that to dinners, there could be spills, there could be some, food, oil, grease, whatever. How do we take care of something like that? Something so beautiful.
That's another good question. Okay, so with every purchase of our items, and right now we're talking about our clutch bags, it comes with a care card on how you can take care of it. So with our songket clutch, actually, there's a simple instruction. If anything spills onto it, just take a damp cloth and just wipe it, and normally it comes off. It's not really fragile, I would say. It's really still it's still good. Same goes to our leather items. Leather is also another delicate, relatively delicate fabric or item to be paired with songket. So it's the same care, but we just advise our customers to not expose it to extreme conditions. So for example, no extreme heat, no extreme wetness or like extreme water. So it's simple things like that. But so far we receive no complaints, and that's something that we are really grateful for.
So now you have a range of products, and do you sell mainly in Malaysia or do you also sell overseas?
We are based in Malaysia, but we still do receive customers worldwide. So we have shipped our items to the States, to Australia. We've shipped it to UAE as well. Brunei, Singapore, that's pretty common. So we have reached places, Paris, and UK, as far as I remember. So we have customers from there as well.
Are they Malaysians or are they
Some of them
people
are not.
who appreciate Malaysian craft?
Some of them are not. I think some of them they got the word from a friend or something, and they're just like interested to get it. But yeah, some of them are Malaysians there, but some of them are not.
So when you started in 2015 with your cousin Dottie, would you have ever imagined that one day a particular product that you've designed is in the hands of someone in, just say, Paris or Australia?
No, I think. But then again, it's not really a no. I think I've always known that this will go big. But when I say that it will go big, I know that it will create ripple effects. It will reach certain people. Because the mindset that I had back then was it's really impossible that I'm the only one who enjoys all this. So it goes as far as like when I produce a bag of clutches, right? And a batch would be say about 10 clutches. And the first thing that comes to my head is like, I wish I can own all of it.
You really love your own products. You wish you could get them all.
Yes, like I feel like, oh, if I have the money, I would own it, because I can imagine what I can wear with this, where I can go with this. And songket has always been known to something very lavish, very luxurious. But one thing that we wanted to change was the stigma to it. Like you can always also wear it on a daily. That's why we kind of incorporate it into our small leather goods as well. So to make it more common, like it doesn't have to be for certain occasions. It is known for that, but it's also the identity of the country as well.
Yeah. So, in your opinion, where do you want to take your brand?
I definitely want to take it worldwide. I really want songket to be known worldwide, and I really want it to, and the usage of it, how you can incorporate it in certain items, certain brands, worldwide, because I feel like it deserves the recognition. Right? Songket itself deserves the recognition. It's such beautiful clothing.
It is really beautiful, and because it has this richness to it, like when you put it in an item, you can see the gold and the silver threads.
Yeah.
You feel like you're owning a little bit of that nice, beautiful thing. But now, like you said, we can use it on a daily basis rather than just put it somewhere and admire it from afar. So
Yeah.
I'm glad actually you're doing something like that, because before this, was there anyone in the market in Malaysia, of course, doing this? Have you done some market research or something, looking into it?
When I started, I think if I'm not mistaken, we knew of one brand in Malaysia, but I think their price point was probably triple of ours, I think. But I could understand. It was a very niche, like it was handmade. It was something that no one has ever done. So also with that, we tried to create a different kind of market, similar interest, but different kind of market. And we try to just make it slightly affordable. But yeah, we
So it's a niche market, definitely.
Yeah.
So if you're talking about like more for the masses, could you give us a range of what the pricing is like, or how each of the products are priced?
Okay, definitely. So all of our range of products, I think we range from 90 and up to 350, I would say. And so it starts with our lanyards and our card holders, our wallets, passport holders, and then our clutches, of course.
So you're talking about Ringgit Malaysia, right?
Ringgit Malaysia, yes. 90 Ringgit Malaysia to 350 Ringgit Malaysia.
And that's really, really affordable. I mean, we could own a number of clutches.
You could, I think. Yeah, definitely. If you were to just allocate it for a special event, yeah, you could, if you were to angle it that way, yeah.
And I also know that like some of the items, you can personalize them with a name, right?
Yes, all of our leather items, you can personalize it. We have a laser engraving machine, so we allow that personalization. So there's no similar two items. This is the concept that we've been carrying from day one. So it's such a blessing for us to be able to do this again with a different type of goods, right? So every single item, leather items that you purchase from us, it's inclusive of engraving. So yeah, you can have your name, your code, a specific birth date or number, yeah, anything. So it's yours. Yeah. There's no
which I think is very clever, right? It's very clever because a lot of people love to personalize everything. Yeah. Right, from their bags to their clothes, everything else, they like to put their name on it. So I think it's a really clever thing that you did there. When you in the early days, you talked about first family friends bought it, right? So right now, what's your marketing strategy like for your products?
Somehow right now, I think we're also on a cruising stage. So what we meant by that, I think, through the levels or series of products that we released lately, right? We have created this is not my personal opinion. I think we have created a sense of brand loyalty. Um, so what that means personally means is that people keep on coming back, even when we don't really shout out about it so much, or we don't really do promotion so much. We have a steady number of customers coming back for it, which we are really grateful for. But most of our customers, I think, that travels through, besides family and friends, I think series of people that bought it from us. I think it's because it's an item that you carry around, right? If it's a lanyard, you carry it every day to work. Same goes to your wallet. So I think through these movements, it's spread, and we have a steady number of customers that keeps on coming back. But to answer your question on a more technical level, we do carry out social media ads, social media advertisements, and this further amplifies our customer base. So through this, we would reach further, like people from far ahead, like throughout the whole country. So yeah, social media advertisements has also aided us with this.
So it means right now you're using social media campaigns to popularize and promote more of your products.
Yeah.
And what platforms are they? Are they on Instagram mostly or on Facebook?
Mainly Instagram. We do have them on Facebook, but we are more active on Instagram. I think it's more like a more friendly interface, and it's user friendly as well, and it has a larger base when it comes to this kind of products. Yeah.
Let's talk about how you started a business when you were still a student with your cousin, right? But yeah, that journey, I think that will be a fascinating journey to uncover.
So I think Dottie just proposed to me one day, and Dottie is older than me. She's one of the eldest cousins. So she proposed to me, and I think the reason, because throughout the years, I think the last few years, I had this conversation with Dottie, like, what do you think of the business and whatnot? And I think she mentioned something. She said, I could have asked anyone to do this business with me, or to do a business with me. Not this specifically, but to do a business with me. But there was a specific reason why I wanted to have something with you, to have a brainchild with you, right? So reason being was because she wanted to spend more time with me. Because she took care of my brothers, so I have 4 older brothers, and Dottie personally took care of them, like babysit them through all the years. But she never did so with me. I think because at that point she was already working. So she mentioned that the reason why she wanted to have a business with me was so that we could spend more time. And I just find that a very adoring sisterly moment, I feel. So yeah, that's also one of the reasons. And the reason was while I was studying, I think I just wanted to do more. Like I think I just know that I have this slight creative juice, or artistic juice, I would say. But I just wanted to do more, and I just saw the opportunity that Dottie gave me was a platform to do that. But I knew that I wanted it to be organic. So I just spent a couple of hundred of my student allowance. I just wanted to see it grow from there. So yeah, it just started from there as a student, and slowly it grew, and milestones into milestones.
What were you studying then? That's what I'm more intrigued. Like, how does it gel with your business idea, or it's completely 2 different worlds?
Definitely an alien world. So I was studying medicine. So I graduated as a doctor. So I was doing it, pursuing this business while training as a medical doctor. So it was quite interesting. I spent a few years in KL, and then I spent 2 years in Sherman for clinical training, and then another half a year in hospital in Batu Pahat as a shadow housemanship. So while I was doing all of that, I still remember coming up and down to attend pop-up booths, to make sure everything is okay, to attend certain customers. We also had like certain delegates that wanted pieces of our products. So because after that, after a few years, Dotty migrated to UAE, to Riyadh. So I was the only one that had to man certain things down. So I was juggling between school and also the business. But there was never a day of regret, you see. Even though it was tiring, I think. The distance, the time as well. Like studying medicine I feel like it was a no joke. It felt like a marathon, I think. The number of books and number of things you have to know, right? But there was never a day of regret that I felt like, oh, if I didn't spend so much time on the business, I would have, achieved different things. I think not. The experience and the knowledge that you gain when you run something, right? When you run an entity or an enterprise, is just unmatched. Like, I feel like it helped me so much on my thinking, and also like training to be a medical doctor, because you meet a lot of the similarities between those two fields is the engagement with people and how you like selling and buying. It's always a sense of supply and demand. Same goes with any other industries, right? So there was never a day of regret. It was definitely tiring, but it was definitely a baby of passion, I would say.
So there was never a time in your life when you're running up and down from Seremban to KL or wherever you were doing your pop-up booths, you were saying that, oh, I don't know whether I should have started a business or not, or, could I juggle two things, which is totally different, right? One is, even though they are related in a way, but one is business, one is medicine, which is tough as it is.
Yeah.
Have you had that come across your mind?
No, I don't think there was ever a day of regret. I remember there was a day of being really tired, of being really exhausted, but there was never a day of regret. Everything was just refreshing. There was a day I remember we had to cater the embassy, the one of our foreign embassies came to us and wanted to order like a huge amount of clutches, right? And because we don't mass produce, and so I had to run up and down to get the right fabrics for them, and then I had to kind of oversee the movements of our team to make sure everything is being produced in time. And also they wanted special boxes, obviously with the right reasons, of course. And I just wanted to see it through, I wanted to see it through. I remember it being a really, really tiring week. I remember it, but looking back, I wouldn't do it any other way. I'm glad we did it, and I'm glad that it was delivered and clients are happy. So I think that's what matters most, I feel.
And since your first employee, Mira, have you added on more people to help you? Because as you know, right, when people order, they order really huge numbers of the items.
Yeah. So right now we are a team of 5, 6. So we're looking for an additional one, but right now we're a team of 5, looking to expand to 6, because we're looking for individuals who are really, as if possible, as passionate as we are. Because like I said, it's not just a matter of like doing it for the money. It's also the quality that we're looking for, and the passion and the patience as well. So when it comes to dealing with these things, these are not easy, I feel. The production of, say, one clutch takes a while. It's not a rush job, I feel.
When you say take a while, how long does it take?
It takes a while. I think for one clutch, it takes at least a couple of days. For the leather goods, we always give a buffer of 5 days, just to make sure everything is done correctly, precisely, and we just want to keep our customers happy. No rush jobs here.
Yeah. So this is real appreciation, and you appreciate while it's being made, and appreciate when it comes to you. So now, are you still a doctor, or are you full time in the business?
So I took a career shift. So after I was done with my shadow housemanship, I took a career shift, and I am in corporate right now. So I'm in one of the telco companies in Malaysia. So I'm in the products team, I would say. So I do a bit of that. Yeah, so it took quite a leap.
Was that difficult?
Um, it was difficult for the family to accept, but not difficult for me. Um, because I've always known what I wanted to do. And when I was a kid, right, growing up as a child, I was a very sick child. So just to give like a brief overview, like I was a sick child in the sense that when I was 13, I had brain infection. So I was in and out of the hospital for quite a bit for a couple of years. And then it was quite bad actually. And then after that, I had like a really, really acute and unique case of brittle asthma. And I was in and out of the hospital for about 6 years. And it was so bad. Like, I remember I would get admitted for about like 6 times a year. So it was quite frequent. And I think the hospital became my second home. And so on and so forth. Like certain complications arise from that. But because I went through all of that, especially when I went through the brain infection, that was when I realized I wanted to be a doctor. You know, I was so inspired by my
The doctors.
Yeah, I was so inspired by my doctors. I was like, wow, like if you could save me, I could save someone else. So I had that mentality growing up. You know, that was one of the reasons why I took medicine. But then, when I tried to get to know myself deeper or just understand myself, I realized that the bigger reason I wanted to do medicine was because I wanted to help people. So as I was training to be a medical doctor, I had quite interesting stints while training. So during one of my breaks, I was lucky enough to be interning with a policy research firm in Malaysia. So I was studying about, or I was researching rather, on urban child poverty in Malaysia. I was trying to find ways to help them. And also after that, I was hired by UNICEF as their consultant to kind of carry out the social project that I wanted, which was to create safe space for children. And I also had the opportunity to do a few months in St. Bart's, London for my internship, for my medical internship. So through all these various experiences that I had, right, I realized one thing, and that was I could help people, and it could be beyond the four walls of the hospital. And then my movement or my drive just changed. I said, like, okay, I have a choice whether to just keep on going with the medical route, or I could take a less traditional route, which is quite unprecedented lah. So what I did was, a few months before I finished my shadow husbandship in Johor, I started applying for jobs. I started applying for corporate jobs. So I was like spamming, applying, but spamming and applying, right? And I was lucky enough to be absorbed into one of the management associate program in Malaysia, and I had experience there. Then after that, lucky enough to be absorbed by this telco. So I'm grateful for my experience and for people or for companies to be taking a bet on me. Like, why would you want a doctor in your company, right? But they took a bet on me, and I'm lucky enough to be given the opportunity, because all I wanted by shifting the career to a corporate job is to gain experience in how a business functions on a larger scale. I wanted to know more about the P&Ls. I wanted to know more about product innovation end to end. How does a product come by, and how do you execute it, market it? I just wanted to know that on a larger scale, and grateful enough I'm doing that.
And have you ever been asked the question, so why is an MD interviewing for a corporate job?
I get that all the time.
But it's very useful to have you on the team in case anyone has a cardiac arrest, or someone faints or has food poisoning, right?
You have a point, because I feel like I'm not quitting being a doctor. I still get that on a daily basis. Like, people would just come to my desk and, hey, I'm having heartburn, could it be heart attack? So no, love it. But I'm having numbness on my hands and fingers.
So technically they're getting 2 for 1. They're
Yeah,
dating the corporate
yeah,
person, and on top of that, the corporate person has a license to practice medicine and give
yes,
you medicine.
yeah, yeah. So it's a holistic package. I would always
Yeah.
tell it to them. You're getting a holistic package.
But they do ask you that, right? Like, what's
They
the MD
do
doing here?
they do ask me that. But I think sometimes the questions of why the shift is quite common. I do get that quite often. But I think sometimes they ask because they also want a sense of certainty. Like, am I just fishing for it? Or is this just a transition job? Or am I going to be here for real? Or am I going to be committed? So I do get why they're asking, because it's uncommon, right? It's uncommon coming from a very, very specialized field. Because when I was training as a medical doctor, I know nothing about like Excel or PowerPoints or creating slides or bookkeeping. So they're just wondering, like, are you sure? But yeah, I think right now they are sure.
And what do you like or enjoy most about your business?
I think the joy of the process of doing it. I think connecting with people with similar interests and the faces or the reactions. I think the best part is definitely the customers' reactions when they receive our products. Oh, I tell you, it's just really, really it's just really, really amazing, like the text that we receive, or the expressions that they get the moment they see our products, right? Unboxing, oh my god, it's so
Do they
satisfying.
send you unboxing videos?
They do actually, they do send us unboxing videos. So um it's so satisfying. Like, I feel, and our tagline, right, has always been, the elegance is yours, the pleasure is ours. And we mean it. And we really, really mean it. Like, the pleasure is always, always ours. Yeah.
And do your colleagues at work know that you have this business? Or is that something that they shouldn't know about?
I think some of them know. I don't really shout out about it so much, but I think some of them know. Because because I do walk around with my own lanyard, right? So my own lanyard, my own card holder. I just use it on a daily basis, right? So I think some of them know it.
And I mean, it's been a number of years since you started your business. And if you could turn back the clock and knowing what you know now, what would you tell a younger version of you back in 2015, if you could?
I think a sense of assurance would do good. Because I think I was young. I was really, really young. And I was trying to play with the big guys, right? But I was lucky enough. I had Dottie, she was a role model. She was a sister figure, always holding my hand when I was getting a bit uncertain. But if I could tell my younger self now, I would just say, hang in there. You'll be fine. Like, you'll figure it out. Like, don't worry so much. Like, it'll be okay. Yeah.
So, did you worry a lot back then?
Definitely, because I think entrepreneurship at that point also wasn't a common thing when it comes to at least my family, right? So my parents were always into the traditional routes of working, right? So they didn't believe in entrepreneurship so much. And especially me, I was really, really young, right? So there was a lot of convincing, a lot of like pushing and pulling. Like, are you sure you want to do this? Are you sure you want to like put some of your money here? Even though it's not a lot, but there's still a bit worried, right? So definitely I was worried. I was like, well, what if this is all just a waste of time? Like, all great ideas, but not so great realities. So if I could tell my younger self, I just feel like, hey, hang in there. You have to believe in yourself. Because if you don't believe in your products, or if you don't believe in your ideas, it can't be released. It won't go anywhere. So just believe in yourself, believe in the products, and also come back to your principles and why you're doing this. You'll be fine. Yeah.
Yeah, love that. Great advice. Because I think a lot of times entrepreneurs worry at the beginning.
At the
Of course,
beginning, yeah.
everyone. Yeah, at the beginning. But I think once you get started and you have some momentum, something takes off then you start getting a little bit better at
Yeah.
managing your worries and fears.
Yep. I do agree with that 100%.
And what bad recommendations should people ignore about business? If people say, oh, certain things you shouldn't do, would there be something that you would like to tell them?
No, I think it's always a matter of having a plan. There is no. I don't think there is bad recommendations, because bad recommendations would lead to another route. So if bad recommendation is plan A, you can always fall back to plan B. So it's always important for me to have a plan, right? So for example, if we're releasing this product, what's our plan A? Ideal plan. What if it doesn't work out? Plan B, plan C. Have a few plans that you can fall back on, because you need to believe in the business itself to know that you have the business to fall back on, and to have a contingency plan. And when I say contingency, is probably to kind of ration on investing, ration on buying whatever you need to buy, right? And not to overdo it, I think. Yeah. It's always, because I feel like I'm a careful person. I'm a very risk calculated person, very careful. I would always think, okay, if you were to do this, what's going to happen next? Or if you were to go to this route, okay, how is it going to affect us? So always have a plan. And for me, I am careful. I don't really take uncalculated risks.
And what are you no longer afraid of?
What am I no longer afraid of? Trying new things, or being open to just saying yes to an adventure. I think after taking a huge career shift that shifted the whole family's perception, I think I'm no longer afraid of that. And I think you just have to trust yourself that you'll be okay.
I think in your story, there's this part where I like is that you dared to take that even after years of studying to be a doctor.
Yeah.
Because it sometimes is not like, okay, you started first year of college and you decided that you didn't like it, and then you can still switch.
Yeah.
But you've spent
7
years, 7 years studying for it. And then to make that change, that's really brave of you.
Yeah. My parents had the shot of their life, but no regrets.
I can see that you're happy now. So I guess it's really worth it.
I am, honestly, I am. I'm happy. I am mentally safe and sound, and emotionally as well. And yeah, no regrets.
And what are some of the big plans for your brand and your products?
Big plans. Okay. Definitely the wish is to scale it up further. We're trying to expand the team further. I think before all of that can be materialized, we're also looking to expand our range and see how much more of a brain juice can we come up. What other products can we innovate with songket? And I think once we have this in plan, we can talk about expanding the team, scaling up the store. Yeah, so that's the big plan. Slowly, step by step. Yep.
And is it difficult since that you and your business partner are not in the same location?
I think it's a yin and yang. I think through the years we managed. So we found our footing, I would say. And there is no like inequality in like doing our roles, right? We manage and we fit each other perfectly. So it's all right. It's not difficult. I think at first trying to find the momentum was a bit, but yeah, we're okay now.
And if you could have a gigantic billboard somewhere,
Yeah.
right, with anything written on it, what would it say and
What
why?
would it say, right? I think it would say it would probably have one of our items, and it would have the tagline of "Enjoy this little piece of luxury," because it is little, but it is a personalized luxury item.
And when you feel overwhelmed or unfocused, what do you do? But it doesn't have to be about business. It can be just generally about life.
I think taking a step back is always crucial. I think a sense of being overwhelmed is having a lot of noise. We just can't focus. We're just out of tune, right? So finding back the focus means like taking a step back, zooming out from the situation, and find yourself first, and then find the problem. Because you can't find the problem if you're not yourself, right? So I've always maintained that mantra: take a step back, try to find yourself first, and then try and find the problem. Most of the time it works. Most of the time, yeah. So yeah, that's what I would do.
And since we're talking about entrepreneurship and women, what do you think women should talk about but don't talk enough about?
I think it is an amazing question, Krista. So I think when it comes to women, right, we always talk about women empowerment. So, but one thing that I would love to see more of it is bringing up women or another woman without degrading another one. Because sometimes we have that phenomenon of like, oh, you should be like this one and not be like this one. There's no such thing. There's always values. There's always something positive you could get from one another, and you could do that without degrading another one. And that's what I feel about women empowerment. It's amazing that this movement is rising and keeps on rising on a daily basis. But certain values like this is something I would like to see more. In the sense of like, yeah, let's go far, let's go up and ahead, right? Let's bring everyone and not leave anyone behind.
Yeah.
There's no such thing of being selective for which woman you want to pick, right? Or which one you want to admire. There's always something you can admire from everyone.
Because I think sometimes that's the thing, right, about women. And I'm not saying this because of the fact that we're in a podcast that talks about women and we're talking to women. But I feel sometimes there are some elephants in the room that must be addressed.
Yep.
Because we can't be talking about women and supporting women and getting them, on this journey of confidence. I would say all our journeys are journeys of confidence. Whether it is through a business, through a corporate role, through whatever you want to do in your life, it's really about journey of confidence. But if we could do it together, I think that's a better journey than trying to, like you said, run down another person, talk or gossip about another woman. It would be a much better place for all of us.
Yeah. I agree with you. Definitely. I think all women deserve some recognition, whether big or small.
Yeah.
There's always something you're doing for yourself on one another.
Yeah. So we're almost at the end, but I just wanted to ask you, at what point? I mean, I know you mentioned that that Dottie wanted to spend time with you, but at what point did you really have this courage to say yes to her in starting the business? When do you get that? Okay, I'm going to do it with her, or do you take a long time to think about that and come back to her?
Yeah, immediately. Honestly, it was an immediate yes, and I think reason being was because I was talking to Dottie. I was talking to someone that I really trust, and I had no issue with that. I had no issue with her. I had full-on trust with her. So the answer came about quite immediately. I was like, yeah, sure, let's do it.
And since we're talking about business partners, let's talk about what if it weren't Dottie? What if it wasn't Dottie? Would you have said yes that fast?
Honestly, no. I don't think by Sarah is by Sarah without Dottie. I think it could only be how it is with the presence of Dottie. No, I wouldn't see it any other way. No.
And finally, what is the key takeaway that you want that person who's listening to us right now to take away or to really embrace and to really understand about what you've told us?
Okay. There's this famous quote, this famous quote by Maya Angelou. I think if correct me if I'm wrong, I think she said something about People will forget what you do, people will forget what you say, but people will never forget how you make them feel. And if you were to, so that's a quote by Maya. So if we were to abide by that, it essentially means to have, for me, what it meant for me was to have my inner self aligned in whatever that I do. So say you want to carry on or you want to start a business, make sure your principles are aligned and you're doing it for the right cause. If you are having a pivotal moment in your life right now, or at a crossroad, for example, if your inner self or your soul or just your energy on the inside is aligned, you will be all right. Whatever choices that you make will be the right one. So I think that the key takeaway from this session, I would say, for at least from my side, is actually to just be one with yourself, and you're gonna be okay. You're definitely gonna be okay, regardless of whatever decisions. There's no good or bad decisions, because bad decisions will eventually reroute you to a better one. So there is no good or bad decisions. It's always believing in the journey and understanding that like God is never wrong in whatever He does. So you'll be fine. You'll be fine. Yeah.
Okay. I wanted to ask this question earlier, but maybe now's a good time to ask it before I get to the final question. What's the craziest thing you've ever done?
The craziest
And you can't name switching from being a doctor to.
I think recently the craziest thing I have done was probably to go on a paraglide. I wouldn't say it's crazy though, but it's crazy beautiful. So a paraglide, for those who doesn't know what a paraglide is. So a paraglide is when you go up a cliff or a mountain somewhere a bit high up. So I've paraglided twice in my life. The first one is in Bukit Jugra in Banting, and that's about 400 feet from sea level. And recently I went to Kuala Kubu Baru, and that's about 1,400 feet. So what happens is once you get to the top of the mountain, the pilot would set up like this huge parachute, right? And then you would be you would be attached to the pilot. So, and the pilot would say, okay, once I say you run, you run. So what happens is that there's a slight cliff, right? Like a slight slope downwards. So when the pilot say you run with the pilot down the cliff. So you run, and then in like say 5 seconds, you will be floating with the parachute. So it's an amazing, crazy, beautiful scene for like about 10 minutes. You see everything from an optic view, and it's beautiful. I think one way to be more grateful with life, or more grateful with everything that's surrounding you is one of it for me. I think was doing that, because I was just stunned that I just wanted to, well, I feel so small in a world so big. I feel so small.
And what made you do that? And suddenly wake up one day, oh, today I want to go paragliding.
My friend woke up one day and probably had that thought, like, I want to go paragliding, and okay, let's invite Sarah. So she was like, okay, let's go paragliding today. I was like, okay, why not? I've tried it once, I've enjoyed it thoroughly, and let's do it again. So yeah, I love those kind of things actually. Yeah.
Yeah, it sounds like you have a very adventurous soul in you. More paragliding adventures to be had.
More, definitely.
So where can people find you online if they want to reach out to you or get your products?
Personally, I am available on LinkedIn. You can just search my name, Sharifah Sarah. But By Sarah is available actively on Instagram. So it's Instagram. Our handle is _by Sarah, BYSARAH_. And you can find us there. Our emails is also there, and you could, if you want to inquire about products, just to ask a bit more questions if you would like. There's also a link to be WhatsApping Dorothy, my partner, and she'll be more than happy to have you.
So thank you, Sarah. Thank you for a very interesting look into your life, how you changed careers, how you became, I would say, an artisan in a way. Even though you say you're not creative, which I think you are.
Thank you. Thank you so much for your kind words. And thank you for reaching out and having me on board. This is an amazing, amazing session. I'm having fun. So, yeah, thank you for this opportunity.
Yeah, thank you. And we will hope to see more of By Sarah's products as well as see more good stuff you're going to do in the
Thank you.
next 5, 10, 15, 20 years. You're young, so you got lots of time to go and do all the stuff that you want to do.
Let's go. Let's go. Hopefully it happens. Let's manifest that.
How wonderful that we start businesses out of love for the people and traditions around us. And in Sharifah Sarah's case, she is truly making songket tenun accessible to everyone. In her own way, she is keeping her own love for songket tenun alive. I love how she says that she wears her products. If you follow her on Instagram, you'll be hard pressed not to fall in love with the gorgeous clutches, lanyards, and more. No wonder she says she herself wishes she could get to keep her products. A big thank you to Dottie and Sharifah Sarah for keeping the traditional songket alive through these beautiful accessories and clutches. If you have enjoyed today's episode, please rate, review, and subscribe to the podcast on your favorite podcast app or share this episode with a friend. Thank you for listening. I appreciate you, and I'll see you next Friday.